fairy prince and princess, animals that are people enchanted. Where can they be? Witches on their broomsticks way up high they sail. Over big bad wolves on each hill and dale in a fairy tale. Fly away to magic lands of fantasy. Sail to those enchanted lands across the sea. There's a land that's far away where folks live happy ever after in a fairy tale.
From the pen of Hans Christian Andersen, the tale of Thumbelina. Once there was a woman who had the greatest longing for a tiny child, but she was not able to have one. So she went to a sorceress.
I do so long for a tiny child.
Here's a barley corn, not the same kind that grows in the farmer's field. Plant it in a flower pot and see what appears.
The woman did as she was told, and soon there sprang up a beautiful flower.
How lovely. My child.
She was called Thumbelina. Her cradle was a smartly varnished walnut shell. She slept in it at night. But during the day, much to the woman's delight, she played about on the table.
Oh! Oh, careful, dear.
I'm all right, Mother.
They were happy together. Then, one night...
What a lovely wife for my son.
Taking Thumbelina, the toad hopped back through the window down into the garden. A great broad stream ran through it. Thumbelina woke up to find herself on a water lily, the biggest in the stream and the farthest from shore. There was no escape.
Welcome to our home, my dear. I brought you here to meet my son, who has been watching you while you were sleeping on the water lily. He approves of you, and so now the two of you are to be married, and you will live together quite comfortably down in the mud.
What? I marry your son?
The fish became angry with the toads. They swore the ugly young toad would never marry the lovely maiden.
Come on, son. We must find a pretty place for you to live before you are married. Come.
Away they went. Thumbelina cried. But already the fish were gnawing at the stem of the leaf beneath her. When she realized that she was floating away from the toads, Thumbelina was very happy. Butterflies took hold of her sash and pulled her faster and faster toward home. Suddenly, a huge beetle grabbed her and snatched her away. He thought she was lovely and carried her up into a tree where many beetles lived.
She's too slender in the waist, and she has no feelers. Ugh, she's as ugly as a human being.
The first beetle believed the rest and dropped her onto a daisy. All summer long, she lived on honey from flowers and drank the dew on the leaves each morning. Autumn came. Then winter. Birds that used to sing to her so sweetly flew away. The flowers in which she lived shriveled and died. She wrapped herself in a withered leaf that did little to keep her warm. Nearby was a large cornfield, but the corn had long ago been carried away. Poor Thumbelina had eaten nothing for 2 days. She had come to the door of a home where a field mouse lived, cozily and warm. The field mouse had plenty to eat, and she took a fancy to Thumbelina. The next day...
You've been so kind to me. I'm truly grateful. How can I repay your kindness?
We shall soon have a visitor, my dear. He is very rich and would make you a good husband. You must entertain him.
The visitor was a mole who had just made a long tunnel from his house to theirs. Thumbelina had to sing and dance for him, though she disliked the mole, for he disliked the sun or beautiful flowers. But he fell in love with her sweet voice and invited her and the field mouse to see his new tunnel. That hole was made so you could see the dead bird in the way. Died of the cold, no doubt. Thank heaven no child of mine can be a bird. They twitter all summer. Then die of hunger in the winter.
Please don't. That may be one of the birds who sang to me in the summer.
He'll never twitter for anyone else again, my dear, you may be sure. Why did he have to die in my nice new tunnel? Unable to sleep that night, Thumbelina wove a blanket of hay. She carried it to the bird, still lying under the hole in the roof made by the mole, and covered him with it, so that he might have a warm bed.
Dear bird, you're alive!
Thumbelina covered the hole with dried leaves and scooped up snow that would melt into water for the swallow to drink. Beneath the snow, she found seeds for the bird to eat. All through the winter, she nursed the bird, telling no one about it. At last, it was spring.
Sweet Thumbelina, my injured wing is better. Now I have the strength to fly out into the sun. Won't you come along? You can sit on my back and we'll fly into the green woods.
Thumbelina had grown fond of the swallow, but she said,
No, I can't. I must stay.
Thumbelina had not told the mole or the field mouse about the bird, for they did not like him. Now she thought of the field mouse. She knew the good creature would grieve if Thumbelina were to leave her like that.
Goodbye, Thumbelina!
Goodbye.
Soon after, the tiresome mole, bearing a fine gift of food, said he would like to marry Thumbelina. The field mouse thought that was a splendid idea.
No, I won't have a tiresome mole for a husband.
Fiddlesticks, you should be thankful to have such a fine, rich husband as the mole. When the summer has come to an end, and the autumn sun no longer is burning so bright, your wedding gown must be finished, and you shall be married to the mole, Thumbelina.
All summer long, spiders were spinning silk for the wedding dress. By autumn, all of Thumbelina's outfits were ready. She was to live underground with the mole, never to see the sun again.
Goodbye, bright sun. I'll miss you. Swallow, I thought I'd never see you again.
Thumbelina, you've been crying.
Oh, Swallow, I must marry the mole and live underground where the sun never shines.
No, winter is coming. Fly away with me to the warm countries, far away from the mole.
Thumbelina! Dearest friend, you've been so kind to me. I don't want to leave, but I cannot marry the mole and live underground, so I'm flying away with the swallow. Thumbelina, come back!
Gracefully, the bird soared over mountains where snow never melts, over valleys dotted with green and blue lakes, till finally it reached a dazzling garden of beautiful flowers. There, the swallow stopped.
Welcome home, Thumbelina. I'm the king of the flowers. This is your true home, and we've all been waiting for you.
Then Thumbelina understood. In each flower lives a tiny angel. She had come from a flower. She, too, was an angel. The king fell in love with her the moment he saw her, and she with him. Now it was time for the swallow to leave. With a heavy heart, he called,
Goodbye, Thumbelina. You who once saved my life, I will remember. Goodbye.
Goodbye, dear swallow.
The swallow had grown fond of Thumbelina himself, but he knew she was meant to be queen of the flowers.